from the depths instant tutorial.
Today we will build a fairly durable APS turret that fires larger shells. We'll begin with deciding how large of a turret we will make. So we go to sub-objects mode, and here we can see these turret templates, and we're going to make a 17 by 17 turret. APS is expensive, so you don't want to make your turrets too small, since you will need to armor them up. And if you don't, they will just blow up in your face and destroy your craft. We will build the turret on this alloy piece. The metal piece around it is the turret well that we'll need to create on the crafts we place this turret on, and it will be able to perfectly spin within this parameter. To start building on our turret, we go into sub-objects. Inside here we can select one of the one turret axis. Since we make a pretty large turret, we will go with the 5x5 turret axis. Remember to check in what direction your turret is facing, since this is a little bit difficult to change afterwards. Now click B to stop building and start building on the turret itself. And now we will recreate the base plate area so that it matches with the alloy outline. Remember, you can click backspace in order to be able to place blocks that are not connected, and just make sure they are connected up afterwards, so that you can use the largest pieces possible. We make this base plate out of stone because stone does not conduct EMP. Now we matched up this base plate with the alloy below, so that's perfect. Inside here we go to AI, and we have local weapon controller. We can use an all-in-one local weapon controller, but it is a little bit more expensive. So for this we can use a regular local weapon controller, add a failsafe ourselves, and a wireless receiver, since we do have the space to do this. So we'll save some materials there. Before we start with the APS, I have just outlined the armor of this turret. I will use one layer of metal and 2 layers of alloy, and this will protect it pretty well while still being significantly lighter than heavy armor. So we go into advanced cannons, and we first will place down a framework with 5-way coolers. Just make sure that the plate with no connection is turned down, and then we can just fill this area. Now we will decide what size of autoloader we will have. I will use 4-meter autoloaders. This method works great with any size of autoloaders. So take one, place it down, go 1, 2 steps, place it down, 1, 2, place it down. Now we will offset it by 1. So we start from here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Why we do this pattern is because of cost. You can see that the autoloader costs 420, while the magazine costs 280. So the magazines are quite much cheaper, but they still do so it can fire faster. And we will of course place down 4 magazines per autoloader, if we can fit it. And for most of them we should fit it. So we'll just connect them up. And one magazine can only connect to one autoloader, and the suction cups must align to the autoloader. Now you can clearly see that this pattern is pretty nifty. But what do we do with all the empty spaces? Well, what we do is we take more of these cooling units or gauge increasers we can have, and we'll just place them in these tubes here. Just like that. Now we can go into and select some ammo input feeder. And we of course need to place down a ammo input feeder on each of the magazines and each of the autoloaders. Now just like that. We're now going to save us some time and go to prefab mode. And like that, and we'll just plop this thing down on top of it. Now we'll need to do some magic in here, because the connection struts going this way and this way. You can see that the connection piece downwards is like disabled because we aligned them all that way, so we just need to align these particular ones in a way so that it connects to the layer under it. But when we have connected up all these vertical tubes, it should be absolutely fine and set up. Now we'll fill in the armor, and we shall do this with copy pasting, because that's much easier. Now we can quickly check if this thing even works and if we set it and connected it up correctly, and we do this by going here and selecting an advanced firing piece and just plop it down there. And if everything lights up blue like this, then you have successfully connected everything up. Basically, what we have to do now is place the firing piece and armor the rest up, kind of. Alright, so we just quickly connect all these up, and we can now place our firing piece. While we do want this thing to be light, it is smart to surround the firing piece and the elevation mantlet, or whatever mantlet we decide to use. It's smart to kind of surround this with heavy armor so that we have some type of protection, because if the firing piece is dead, well, then everything dies. We're going to go with the 3-meter elevation barrel, just like this, and we should now surround this thing a little bit with heavy armor. And we're just having this scary looking wedges here to work as some kind of spall protection. And now it doesn't really matter, they kind of actually block the barrel because this isn't counted. They just are here. And we're going to have metal on top of this, of course. Very nice. And we can do the same thing with like metal wedges as well to have some kind of spall protection. Just for your knowledge. Alright, so to make sure that this kind of setup works and that we don't need more coolers or more of anything like that, we're going to cut a little slot in here, because inside here we're going to have our ammo controller. I usually like to have my ammo controllers on the turret itself because it's much easier in that way. So here we go, and we can create a little shell. So we're going to select a nose, and for now we're going to make a heat shell. So a shaped charge, and then we go with warhead body and a couple of these, whoops, like that. Something like that will probably be fine. And now we can go to one of our ammo controllers, like that, and we can select this one and assign all intakes to this ammo controller. There we go, now they're all assigned. Fantastic. And we go back to this ammo controller, because here we can see the shell gauge, and this we can drag up and down to kind of estimate how big of a clip length we require. And since we have 4-meter shells, we will select the largest gauge possible, so 330, and we have 4 meter there. So this means our cannon will be a 330 if we were going to have this shell. And to increase the gauge, of course, we go in here and we select the gauge increaser instead of the cooling unit. So we'll plop a few of these down until we have the desired gauge. Alright, and that's a little more than we need, so we're going to go in here and on APS we're going to select it to 330 as we like it. Alright, we need a barrel to this thing, and we have heavy barrels and we have normal barrels, and the heavy barrels make it slower to aim, but it makes it a little bit more durable as well. I'm going to opt for one tiny piece of heavy barrel, and then we're just gonna have normal barrel the rest of the way. So the longer barrel we have, the more accurate it will be, as you can see by the inaccuracy number decreasing. If you go to the bottom, you can see autoloader, ammo intake and cooling limit. These numbers should be the same. The ammo intake limit can be higher, especially for belt feds, but this is a normal cannon, so we don't need to care as much about that. So the autoloader and ammo intake limit is the same, which is nice, but the cooling limit, as you can see, is much more. So it cools much faster than it needs to. So we can remove some of the coolers and replace them with other stuff. Alright, now we decrease the cooling a little bit and we have more space for armor. And now remember that the cooling differs, so it is a little bit more than it has to be, but we may want to have a little flexibility, because if we put in a shell here with more gunpowder in it, the cooling limit will need to be higher because it will heat up the gun more. When the cannon is firing, it will get less accurate due to recoil. And that's not very nice. But what we can do is go in here and look at some recoil absorbers. These recoil absorbers, they absorb recoil and makes it so that your gun can fire for longer without getting inaccuracy penalty. Now when we have added these, we can fire a good couple of shots before we get a little bit more inaccurate. And the more of these you can fit, the longer you can fire without having any issues with inaccuracy from recoil. So you can make a turret with a lot of these if you really want that prolonged accuracy when constant firing. Well, let's continue armoring this thing up, and as you can see it's sticking out on the top here, and that is to protect the turret armor within it, so that the well and the turret sits kind of flush, and we have this little sticking out part here to basically seal it. And a nice shape is forming, and we also should include some surge protectors in the turret so that eventual EMP destruction waves coming in will get absorbed by this and not turning on any of our AI equipment in this turret. And here we can see the armor so far, and don't underestimate wood as cheap bulk up, it's pretty excellent. And of course within this we're going to add some applique panels, and we can also add more wedges of various types, probably not heavy armor but metal or stone, and that can also add as an extra layer of protection. Alright, now we have armored it up pretty properly. We also decorated some bit. So if we just look into here, you can see we have all these steep surfaces, applique panels, free space, wood, metal, alloy, and of course the firing piece within a lot of heavy armor. Or not a lot, but a significant amount at least. And you can see we can elevate all the way up, like that, and it still works absolutely fine even though we have blocks in the way, just so you know. So the only thing that kind of remains is of course the paint job. So let's add it and save it. And of course covering up this little thing. You can experiment with a lot of different shells if you like, please do. But when you have decided, you can cover it up like that. And what I usually do to kind of understand is just painting the block it's behind so you kind of know. And if you change the shell loadout, you might need to add or remove more coolers if you want it to be perfectly balanced. Oh, and did you know if you add decorations on the barrel, it will stay with the barrel and move with the barrel. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Well then we just need to save this thing. So let's do that. Punkakus T17, and there we have it, a nice armored APS turret with APS Tetris. Pretty efficient and not too heavy to use as, ship turrets. Well, I hope this video helped you, and if it did, please leave a like and do check out my other tutorials in From the Depths, especially the instant tutorials. In any case, this is Jimodism signing out.